We'd like to look at the unit circle now and how to find the radians on the unit circle. This is a re-recording of the first video that we did about radians because we found out later that our audio went out halfway through the video. So we're going to try to pay special attention this time to make sure that we keep our audio. All right, with our unit circle, the first thing we want to do here is get a circle on our pad. Okay, so here's our unit circle. It's the unit circle because, of course, as we have said before, it has a radius of 1. Now we need to put it on our axis. So we'll draw an axis here. So we'll come down here with our y-axis, and then we'll come across here with our x-axis. Okay, so here is our axis, and we've got this marked off in quadrants here. Of course, we've got our first quadrant and our second, our third down here, and of course finally the fourth. And we're going to put our degree measures on here. We're going to go in the middle of each quadrant, so that's going to be a 45-degree angle that's created. Okay, so starting at 0, 45, another 45 puts us at 90, and another 45 puts us at 135 degrees, and another 45 puts us at 180 degrees, and another 45 puts us down here at 225 degrees, and another 45 puts us at 270 degrees, and another 45 puts us out here at 315 degrees, and then our final 45 brings us a full circle at 360 degrees. Again, we're going to always go in a counterclockwise position. Now let's go back through and put on our multiples of 30. And when we do that, here we have a 30-degree angle that's formed. Then our next is up at 60 degrees, back to 90, and 30 over from there is 120 degrees. 30 over from there is 150. Then back to 180, and at 210, 240, 270, 300, and 330 degrees. Now, each of those special angles that we want to have memorized also have a radian measure. And that radian measure can be found mathematically. I'll try to help you remember it so that if you forget it, the measures by memorizing, you can always go back through and develop these. Let's put on the 45s first. We'll go back and put those on. And since the 45 degrees of the 360-degree angle is really 1/8 of the circle, when we take 1/8 of the circumference of a unit circle, which would be 2 pi times 1, then we're going to have really pi over 4 for every 45 degrees. So for every 45 degrees, let's count off 1/4 of pi. So up here at 45 degrees, that's 1/4 pi. Another 45 degrees would be 2/4 pi, and that reduces to pi over 2. Then we're going to have 3/4 pi. And over here at 180, we're going to have 4/4 pi, which is just pi itself. Then we're going to have 5/4 pi at 225. 6/4 pi, which reduces to 3 pi over 2 at 270. Then 7/4 pi. And 8/4 pi back at 360, which is the 2 pi circumference. So those are the radian measures for our multiples of 45. Now let's look at our multiples of 30. Let's see what portion of the circle a 30-degree angle is. 30 degrees is 1/12 of the circle. So 1/2, or rather 1/12 of my circumference is going to be pi over 6. So 30 degrees is pi over 6 radians. So for every 30, we'll add another pi over 6. So at 30 degrees, we start pi over 6. 60 degrees is 2 pi over 6, which reduces. So we have 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6 reduces to 1/2. Then we're going to have 4 pi over 6, which reduces. Then we have 5 pi over 6. And 6 pi over 6 is at pi. Then 7 pi over 6. 8 pi over 6 reduces. 9 pi over 6 reduces to 3 pi over 2. Then we have 10 pi over 6. 11 pi over 6. And then 12 pi over 6 is at 2 pi again. So that's where the radian measures come from. Look for the patterns. Memorize if you have to. But it's extremely important that you know the unit circle very, very well.